What's up, y'all? Whoa. Nice. All right. Yeah, that was just a beat that I made, I think on the last stream actually. So yeah, that's a fun one. Just wanted to start off with a little music now. Let's take a look here and see what else we got going on. Because yeah, basically the plan today is that I wanted to make a beat on the Lofi12XT, which we'll get into in just a moment here. Actually, let me play something from here. I feel like I've got some cool stuff. New World? I wonder what that is. All right, cool. But yeah, that was just a beat on the Lofi12XT. Fun stuff there. But yeah, let's get cooking. So I'm gonna load up a brand new project. Select new, and we will get this party started. Hope everyone's chilling out there, doing well, etc. Okay, 249. No. And then I gotta reconfigure my audio here. Give me like 1 second. And then just need to test this out. Load samples. Or no. All right, so, oh, wait, dang, sorry about that. I think it like doubled. Give me like 1 second here. Let me. Cool. Okay, so that should sound good. My apologies. Yeah, my audio configuration, it's always like so janky. I feel like there's many rooms for error, basically. But yeah, so we've got our new project started here. So let's get a sample recorded in. And I had a couple samples in mind today. I'm not sure which one I want to use, but let's take a listen to the first one and see what y'all think. And yeah, let me make sure the levels are coming in pretty good too. Sound Doctrine asks, are Saturdays usually when you go live? Bro, dude, hell yeah. No, I appreciate you asking. Yeah, I'm trying to work out a schedule, and I think Saturdays and Tuesdays are what I'm gonna do. But I haven't finalized anything, so please don't quote me on that. But yeah, usually Saturdays in like the noonish time range, Pacific time, that is. And then yeah, on Tuesdays it's usually in the evening in Pacific time, so like 5 or 6 p.m. But yeah, that's the plan. Still working on it though. But I appreciate you showing up, man. Have you I think you're one of my M8 homeboys, right? Heck yeah. No, have you you have the M8, right? Have you checked out that new firmware that has like the lazy chops on it? Or I think you were the one that commented on one of my streams about it. That thing is lazy chops on this thing is crazy. Crazy sauce for sure. Oh yeah, I gotta turn up the volume on this thing. FC, dude. Dude, heck yeah. I'm telling you, it's such a game changer, bro. Like, I'm with lazy chops on this thing, it's like, this is all you need, dude. All you freaking need. Dude, heck yeah, that's sick to hear. That is a saucy sample, let me tell you. This is the one we're going to be working with. John Source, is that a beta firmware thing or official now? I think it's still beta. Someone feel free to check me, call me out if it's not the case. But yeah, it's a beta firmware thing from like just a couple days ago, actually. I'm pretty sure it was on like the 11th of February that the beta firmware came out, which is nuts because it's like, I feel like we've been asking for lazy chops for a long time. So now is the time to be a hip hop musician on this thing. Let me tell you. Okay, let me do something here. Okay, so the problem with this sample, it sounds sick, but it's very long. This thing only has 40 seconds of sample time. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get the whole waveform in there. I might just split it up into 2 parts. The first part being this like beginning section that doesn't have like the saxophone on it and stuff, and then the second part I can work with later. Dude, nice. Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, that last pre-order was pretty recent, right? It's like maybe like a couple weeks ago or something. Okay, so let's get this thing punched in here. And then I need to speed it up too. Pitch it up, I mean, so that we take up less time on this device. So let's do that. Man, I totally screwed that up. I think I'm gonna do that one more time. Or, you know, it probably doesn't matter. What is this? Oh, I don't unmute. Yeah, so I did get a little bit of like the tail end here in terms of like the second half of the sample, but I think we're fine to just leave it in there. Okay, so let's get chopping here. Just need to do some stuff. Yeah. Slice mode. Dude, nice. Yeah, no, super portable for sure. Yeah, if you're traveling a lot, this thing is like, it's the way to go for sure. Dude, that's what's up, man. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, glad the videos have been helpful. I actually have another M8 video coming out tomorrow too, so be sure to check that one out. It talks about like lazy chops and some other chopping methods and stuff, so pretty cool stuff. Okay, but yeah, let's chop this thing up here. Nice. Okay, I think those will do. But not the chat. Oh, dude. Heck yeah. No, that's sick. On IG, I do have an Instagram. I haven't used it in a long time though. So to answer your question, no, I'm not active on Instagram. It's a good question, so thank you for asking. Yeah, sorry, you'll have to listen to that. Yeah, the way you do like a mute group on this thing is you gotta like play all the pads, so it kind of sounds like a freaking noise explosion. But okay, so I think we've got everything that we need here. I forgot that I pitched it up too. But the sample sounds sick at this pitch. Dude, this is the chop right here though. That gring, it's like the way they play the keys. Nice. All right. But let's pitch it down and see what it sounds like. Yeah, there we go. Oh man. Dude, this sounds so sick. Alright, let me just punch this in and then we'll get some drums on it. I don't even know where this is supposed to go. Oh, change the tempo too. try 88. That's kind of the vibe there. All right, let's get some drums in the mix because I think we're off to the races here. Okay, load. And we'll start with a snare drum. You just got to go with the first snare that you vibe with. So that's what we're going to do here. I found this one very quick, but I am happy with it. I don't know why it's looping. All right, so let's get this recorded in. Kick drum next. Dude, heck yeah. Thanks for tuning in, Guts. Oh, hopefully that didn't like clip or something, but yeah, nice to see you, man. All right, I do like this kick, but I might have to pitch it down a little bit. Let's find out though. All right, we'll do -4 semitones. I think that's should work for us. I have to put a filter on it too, but I'll do that in a second. Oh, whoa, holy, what the heck? Dude, I was like editing the pattern there. Uh-oh. I need to not be moving so fast on this thing. Yeah, that's the only problem when it comes to like using multiple samplers is sometimes you like get into the flow state with one and then you start using another and you're like, you get kind of lost in the sauce a little bit. But yeah, so let's get these kicks dialed in real quick. Put a filter on it too. kick is like, it's hard to finesse the filter sometimes. The kick is, it kind of sounds like it's hard to hear. I might have over filtered it. But there is a trick I sometimes use on the kick drum on this device, which is to like really filter it super heavily using like a low pass filter. And then you can add an effect to it because each track can have its own insert effect. So you can use an effect that makes it louder, basically, to kind of like make up for the sort of reduction that you're doing with the filter. So let's see what the two effects that usually do this are: overdrive. So we can start with that, and then the compressor is another way to really boost the levels. So let's start with overdrive. Yikes. Let me bring the tone down. Maybe I gotta come back to the filter. Sounded aight. We might come back to it later, but yeah, I think it's serving its purpose here. So let's keep moving on and find some other drums. I think next I'll do hi-hat. Yo, Simon, dude, I saw that. Bro, that thing's epic. What up? Yeah, dude, sounded sick, man. It was a nice, quick little, yeah, dude, shorter tape, but yeah, it was dope. Yeah, I kind of wanted to ask. I was gonna leave a comment, but I didn't do that yet. But I did want to see. So did you record? You like played the beats on the Sonicware, and then you recorded it onto the OP1? Is that how that worked? Because they sounded sick. It had like a nice kind of texture to it and stuff. So I figured some of it was the Sonicware, but then some of it was probably the OP1 too. Oh, nice. Dude, heck yeah. That's what's up. Dude, heck yeah. Yeah, I gotta freaking use this thing before I forget, dude. I'm telling you, I spend a week using a different device, and then I come back and I'm like accidentally overwriting patterns and doing all kinds of other crazy stuff. Gotta put in the reps. Okay, so let me record this hi-hat in. Now it sounds pretty loud, so we can turn it down. Bring the pitch down too. It's a little much. think -2 is good. And let's see if we can find an open hat too. Vibe with this one, so we'll get it punched in here. Oh, bro, what is going on with this waveform? It's just like totally flat, dude. I'm tempted to normalize it, but I feel like it's gonna sound insane if I do that. We can always undo though. Let's on today's episode of what does the waveform look like when it's normalized. Look at this thing. It's like freaking nuts. Watch, it's gonna sound so crazy. Oh, bro. Yeah, I definitely did not do the right thing here. Undo. Yeah, what I'll do is I can put a note in and then, oops. And then I can adjust the levels here. C4, and we'll do the dry, max it out. Okay, I think that'll be good. Oh man, you know what I want to do too? Well, here, let me just record it in really quick. Okay, that sounds pretty good. But yeah, so what I want to do here is I want the closed hat and the open hat to be on the same track. And I'm going to do that by resampling both sounds triggering and then using the slicer. It's kind of a weird sort of workaround that you have to do on this thing, because otherwise if you want to trigger different sounds from the track, you have to parameter lock like a different instrument to be loaded. It's kind of a headache, to be honest with you, so it's much simpler, I think, to just resample it and have both of the sounds in one waveform. So we're going to do that. So what I need to do is mute everything except for the hi-hat, and then I'm going to have to re-record this hat sequence anyway, so I might as well just get rid of these things. And then let me just punch this thing in here. Sounds a little quiet though. Let me turn it up a bit. Yeah, we'll just have it at 100 because why not? Okay. And then I'll put the open hat after. So I guess I could just put it right here. Let me turn the envelope off on this too. Okay, that seems fine. And then yeah, to resample, you do function plus sampling. Then you have to change this mode to resample. And then we're gonna resample, you can resample individual tracks, but I'm gonna resample all the tracks using the master. And then we'll put it on track 6. And then we'll do it. Okie dokie. All right, so now I have a waveform that has both of the sounds on it. It's got the closed hat and the open hat. That's what's up. And this will make it easier just to manage the sounds because they'll be together. I can even set up a choke group so that one mutes the other out, or mute group, I mean, so that one mutes the other out. So, so yeah, let's do that right now. Oh yeah, and then one other thing that's kind of weird that I just noticed is that these samples both had 12-bit mode, and oh god, press record, had 12-bit mode enabled. So this one did, as did this one. And so when I resampled it, the sounds had 12-bit mode enabled, and I have 12-bit mode enabled again. So they're like double 12-bit moded, if that makes sense. I don't know if I said that right. You can tell they do sound kind of like, not really distorted, but there is like a unique character to them is how I'll describe it. So I'm going to turn that off. Yeah, we'll keep it off. Okay, and then I need to slice this thing. Seems pretty good. And then Now that I have these things resampled, I can actually get rid of these other tracks because I have both the sounds here. Oh wait, yeah. So I'm gonna hold clear and then push the pad and then clear it all. Get it out of here. And then yeah, I'm also gonna copy this one to here so that it's kind of all on the left. So it's just an organizational thing. You don't really have to do this, but I'm kind of OCD about it. So to copy the pad or track, I mean, you hold the track down, then you press copy, then you hold the copy button, then you press the track you want to copy it to, which is number 4. Cool. So they're the same. So let me get rid of this one so I don't get confused here. Okay, so now we got to re-record the hi-hat track, but it should be pretty easy to do. But yeah, let's unmute and listen to what we got here. Man, I really came in hot with those hi-hats. They're all pretty high velocity. Because yeah, I usually like to kind of keep the velocity sensitivity on for the hi-hat track and try to record something that's a little more like, you know, there's variation and stuff, but they're all like super duper loud. But you can change the velocity if you hold function and then press the step. There's like values for it. So this one's 107. So I'll bring it down to like, I don't know, 77 or something. Gonna have to figure that out. Gut asks, can you make choke groups with poly sounds? Playing a chord, when you play another chord on the same track, it'll choke itself. I don't think there is unless I change the release of that sample. Yeah, I don't think there's a way to do that because of the fact that, oh wait, actually, okay, so there is a setting that I haven't messed around too much with, but I'll show you what it looks like. So there is this thing in the config setting. It says choke self. I don't know. It sounds dangerous, right? But yeah, basically you can choose like a number. So this says like, so right now it says self. Then it's got 1, 2, 3. I don't know if those are voices or what it is really. But yeah, maybe there's a way that you can use like this choke setting to do that. I'm not really sure though. Because yeah, my understanding is that you wouldn't be able to set something up like that. You just have to change the release, like you mentioned. But yeah, definitely worth messing around with. So I say check out the choke settings. Try not to choke yourself though when you're doing that. Dude, heck yeah. Alright, so this open hat is sounding pretty chill, but it's coming in a little too much. So what I'm going to do is extend the length of this track, right now it's only 16 steps, so we're going to make it 32. Hold function, turn the A knob, and that's going to duplicate the, the notes that are on both pages. Or, yeah, so now the same notes that I have in the first 16 steps are on the second 16. So I'll delete the open hat on the first 16, and we'll keep it, excuse me, and then we'll keep it on the second one so that you can kind of hear it every other time. Something in my throat. Nice. Alright, so now that we got the rhythm section built out a little bit, let's come back to these sample chops because there's still a lot of pads that I didn't even press. So let's try to maybe jam something else out. And I know what you're thinking, this probably sounds like a hot mess, but basically I'm like really loading up this track or this pattern because I want to use the probability settings to like have some of these notes come in like with a 50% chance and 30% chance and stuff like that. I did a video about this recently. It's a pretty cool technique, not really applicable on every single beat you make on this, but I think it's fun for just kind of like getting weird, interesting sequencing going with some of the chops and how it's played back. So yeah, so to do that, let's go to the config settings, and then from here, sequence mode, and then dice is the parameter that we're looking for. So we're going to bring this down to, I guess, like maybe 30%. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to parameter lock some of the like core notes to have a 100% chance to trigger. So we always hear them, but then some of these other non-core notes, I guess, or chops or whatever, will come in with less frequency. So this one I'm going to do 100%. And then this one I'm going to do 100%. Let's see what that sounds like. Interesting. So yeah, these ones basically all have a 33% chance to play, so they don't come in as frequently, but these ones are always playing. This one comes in a little too frequently anyways, though, which is kind of weird because it's 30%. So what I'll do is I'm going to clone or extend the pattern to 32 steps, and then I'm going to delete it from the first 16 steps. So it only has a 30% chance to trigger here. So it's kind of like it only has a 15% chance because it's every other time that it has a chance. It's kind of complicated, but you get what I mean. Let's try to get some bass in here. Oh. And then yeah, there's actually a pretty cool thing you can do with this device, which is use it as kind of like a synthesizer, which is another thing I've talked about in a previous video, but it's always good to touch on this stuff. So yeah, what I'm going to do is load up a waveform, wave shape, whatever you want to call it, that'll basically act like an oscillator in a synthesizer, which we can use to create some pretty cool tones. And it's great for bass because you can get like really nice low end out of some of these very simple shapes. So we're going to do we're going to load up a triangle wave here, load. Sounds like nothing at this point, but you have to turn on the loop mode, which is this play mode that's on the sound page, right auxiliary button. Ooh, sounds hot. But yeah, so let's turn it down a little bit. Okay, we're getting close here. I will turn on an envelope, but I'm going to keep it super tight, just so it has like a little bit of a tail, but not too much. But yeah, the real trick here is to add a filter. So we're gonna do low pass. Nice beefy bass. Hard to figure out what's in key here because I can like barely hear the bass. It's coming in very low on my headphones. Maybe I can let off on the filter a little bit just so I can play something and then I'll turn it back on. Let's see. Oh, whoa, did not mean to do that. Okay, so just hang with me. I know it sounds a little wacky, but I'm gonna put the filter back on in just a minute. Pretty simple. Not bad. But yeah, I do want to do a second section to this, so let me extend the length. Config length. Gonna clone it, but yeah, on the second half, I'm gonna delete some notes and like maybe try to play something a little bit different. Okay. Done. right, so keeping it a little simple there. Yeah, basically the first page has these notes, and then for this one, I kind of just like left some out just to give it a little more space and room to breathe. And yeah, that was all with a very simple triangle wave that looks like that. So pretty cool stuff. Definitely try using this thing as a synthesizer if you get a chance, because it's a lot of fun. Okay, what else can we add here? We've got 3 open tracks, plenty of room. This thing, let's try pitching it down. Keep shopping around. Kind of like this one. Yo, dude. That sounds pretty dope, not gonna lie. All right, let me record this in. Give me a second here. And I think what I'm gonna do too is play 2 of it, just so there's like, I don't know, more of it. It kind of doesn't matter really, but I think I'm just gonna play 2 of it. Okay. Okay, and then now let's see if we can punch something in here. Do fixed velocity on this because I'm kind of like, it's hard to play the same velocity over and over again here. So do that. Put it in mono as well, I guess, because we don't want more than one playing. That sounds kind of interesting. Yeah, so basically what I'm doing there is I'm using the roll shortcut. So there's like, basically if you hold one of these directional buttons down and then you press a pad, it like does a roll basically, or ratchet, or whatever you want to call it. But it has an interesting behavior when I do it right here. Like it kind of like creates a unique rhythm for it. Let me try that again. It's like yeah, I don't know. It's the best way I can do it with my mouth. Okay. But yeah. And something else to mention on this device, you don't got no undo button. So if you mess up, you're kind of not in a good position, but there is sort of a way to deal with that, which is to save the pattern. I haven't saved it all this entire time. So I'm going to do that right now. Boom. And so yeah, now I can try doing a take of this to see if I can get it sounding good. Might not be able to pull it off, but we can try. And if I do screw it up, I can always load the pattern that I just saved. So that's why I did that. Okay. Y'all saw that, right? That was weird. It like basically pushed this note further forward, and then it didn't even sound like the way it was sounding when I was playing it live. Very interesting. But yeah, I can always just put this thing back in. Actually worked out pretty well. Yeah, I am really digging that tambourine, but we might be able to make it sound a little more interesting too by adding an insert effect to it. And the one that I'm thinking of is Crusher. Yeah, so we can get it like kind of sounded super duper lo-fi, which will be sick. So just to give you some context here. So that's no Crusher effect on it. I know it's probably kind of quiet. All right, let's hear it in the beat though. Nice. So it kind of tucks it under the mix a little bit, which is cool. So yeah, that's what's up. And still got 2 open tracks here. Gosh darn it. I wonder what we're going to put on these. I just realized we probably should not put horns on it because the second half of the sample already has horns. So we don't want to, or maybe I could have horns and then, you know what, let's actually, this is a good point to transition to the other half of the sample. So this whole time I've just been working with the first half. Let's record in the second half and see what that's all about. Okay, so first thing I need to do is save this pattern. And then I'm also going to save a copy of it. So we're going to put that on pattern slot 2. Okay, so now we've got the original pattern, and then we've got this pattern. And so in this pattern, I'm going to save the second half of the sample, and we're going to work with that. So hopefully this works out the way I'm imagining it in my head, but let's find out. All right, close this, or we're going to clear this. Clear the, I guess clear it all, I don't know. And then record. All right, let me find that sample again so we can get the other half of it. Zoop-a-doop-a-doo. All right, so this is it. So that's what we've been working with, but this is the second half. I think it starts here. I gotta get the start time right. It's gonna take a second though. Okay, I think this is good. All right, and then, oh dude, I need to pitch it up too. Maybe I'll, gosh, I don't even remember what semitone I had it at before. Okay, I'm gonna save a copy of this thing so I'm not jacking up the original one. Number 2, and then I'm gonna crop, and then save it. Yeah. Okay, and then now, let's do some analysis really quick. So we've got this pattern here. Let's save it again. Okay, so this sample, oh, you know what I can do? I can listen to them both and figure out what the pitch is with my earballs. So let's try that. Where is it? Here it is. So then I have to play this one. It seems very complicated, but there is a method to this. So sound. So this is what I recorded. This is the pitch that I recorded the sample at. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to figure this out. I'll just record it sped up and then we'll get the pitches to match momentarily. Okay. Let me just not save that and load it. Yep, okay. And we're gonna record it in. Crank it up a little bit. So now we got to chop it up, which shouldn't take too long because we got the lazy chops and the pads here. So it should be quick and easy. Okie dokie, voice, whoops, slice mode. Nice. Okay, so we got those slices dialed in here. Pretty chill stuff. Oh, I gotta set them to a mute group too. This is gonna take a minute here. Wee. Okay, so now they're all on a mute group. Still not sure if they are the same pitch as the other half of it, but I should have just paid more attention when I did that. It's all good though, so we're gonna save this. Alright, so I feel like it's definitely these chops. These are the ones that are calling my name. Yeah, I gotta figure out what I want on this first one, because I feel like this, it's like it kind of is the only thing I can focus on when I hear it. So I feel like it plays a little too frequently. Maybe it would work if I had this as a 64 step pattern and not 32. That sounds sick. Let me see if I can find another pad for this first slot though. That sounded sick. save that so we don't lose that. And I'm also going to take advantage of this opportunity to rename this pattern so I don't get super duper confused why they're both called pattern 2. So, or pattern 1, I mean. So that one's 2. Okay. All right, now let's hear how they transition between one another. So we're going to start with pattern 1 and then have it queue up to pattern 2 and see if it like kind of flows. Yeah, so the levels are definitely different. So I'm going to try turning this one down a little bit. Maybe do like 88 or something. There is something else weird going on with it that I'm going to have to figure out. But for now, let me just try and get the levels the same. Alright, I think the levels are a little more matching at this point. Okay, now the other weird thing that's happening is, I don't know, I feel like the chops are playing in a way that's, I don't know, the ones with the horns kind of sound like they're, it's really hard to describe, like they're shifted over in a certain way. Yeah, so I think I know what I need to do here, and I'm not happy about it, but I'm going to do it anyways. Yeah, I feel like these chops need to all be like 1, 2, 3, 4, need to be like moved up 4 steps, which is kind of odd, but yeah, I think that's the problem here. So let me like try to do that in a way that doesn't drive me crazy. All right. Okay, so mission accomplished. I moved everything forward 5 steps or 4 steps or whatever. I don't know if this is going to address the problem though, so I'm going to save a copy where that happened so I can have a backup of that. So it's, yeah, we're just, redundancy is the name of the game today. And let me see if it transitions any better. I don't know if it will, but, or actually I need to do one other thing too, which is there needs to be a note on this step. I don't even know what to put here. Not the right one there. Let's keep shopping around. That'll do for now. Let's see how it transitions. Sounds still kind of goofy. Let's try it again, but this time I won't have that first note in there. Yeah, I definitely need to have a note on this first step. Alright, well that loops well. Let's see how it transitions. I think it's not bad. Well, we're going to keep it this way. So I'm going to save it. I'm actually going to overwrite this one too. Okay. So yeah, before we had ventured off into this space of alternate sample chops, I was looking for another layer. I still have 2 open tracks. So let's see if we can find maybe one more sound to pepper in here. I like this sample. It's got these kicks in it though. Oh man, it's gonna really throw us off. Maybe if I do like a high pass filter or something, I can get those kicks out of there. Dude, appreciate that, Simon. Let me see. Let me just take a look at the damage here. Oh god, look at this waveform. See all those kicks? It's like bad news. Dude, this guitar sounds so sick on this beat though. All right, gosh darn it, we're gonna try and make it work. You can blame me later if it doesn't happen. And yeah, I'm just gonna take a small section of this. The sample's really long, as you saw, but yeah, we'll just get as much as we need here, which is not a lot. And then I'm going to slice it up. So yeah, I think I'm just going to keep the kicks on their own pads and just like kind of just not touch those. I think these will be good though. Okay. There's something going on with this one. It's got like something at the end that I'm not familiar with. It's this one. Take a look at the slice here. It's got that. Yeah, so let me try cutting it off, or I'll split it. See how that sounds. Maybe like delay on this or something? Hang with me, guys. just can't decide what I want because it all sounds so sick. Let me just save this so I've got like a backup of it. I'm gonna try and record some stuff in and see what happens. Alright, so that guitar, rhythm guitar, whatever it is, that ended up being a real nice layer. And we got one track left. Gosh, I wonder what we should put on here. And we don't have to add another layer. We can always just keep this open as kind of a flex slot for whatever we might need in the future. But, let's save this. We'll keep shopping around, see if we can find something. Dude, I like this bongo roll. I feel like I've already got a lot of percussion, but it just sounds pretty sick. So let's get it in there. That's what I'm saying, man. All right, so let's see here. Let's record this in. Pretty nice. And then I do have a plan for this. Nice. So yeah, lowered the level a little bit so it's kind of buried in the mix, not super loud and easy to detect. And then one other thing I'm going to do is turn the probability down on this so that we're not getting the bongo hit every single time, but that it comes in every now and again, which is pretty cool stuff. So let's do 50%, I guess, every other time. I don't know. We'll see how that sounds. Let it run a little bit. Nice. Okay, so that worked out pretty well. I want it to come in even less. Maybe I should do 25%. Or no, you know what I'm going to do? I'll do 50%, but I'll make it so that it's the length of the pattern is long, 64, but it only comes in on the first one. So that way it's like kind of half of 50% sort of, but yeah, I think that'll work. And then no chance for it to come in here. right, so we're gonna save that. Now the thing where it gets a little bit tricky here is that I have these extra layers on this pattern, but on my other pattern, I ain't got them. They're not there. But you can copy tracks between patterns. There's a way to do that, thank goodness. So let's do that. All right, so I want to copy this guitar. Let me double check this is the right one here. Yeah, so that's the guitar. So what I'm going to do is hold the track down, push copy, so it's in the copy buffer. Then I'm going to load the other pattern, and then I'm going to hold copy and then press the track that I want to paste it to. All right, so it's there, and the notes are there too, which is pretty cool. But I feel like I'm going to have to do some of the FX stuff, like the delay and stuff, but let's just listen and see. Yeah, so it did not inherit the delay settings that I had changed on the reverb page, so I'm going to need to re-enable those, but first things first, I'll just save this. All right, okay. And what we can do for this too is there's a way to copy it. Let me see, just checking the chat here. Simon Labor Beats, have you experimented with the sidechain compressor? I have used it a couple times, yeah. I think I have a video where I talk about it, but you know, with my videos, it's always like talk about like 10 things in one video. Yeah, I've used it a little bit though. I am familiar with it. Do you, have you used it, or are you familiar with it? Or are you looking for some tips on it or something? Okay, and then, yeah, so I need to copy the reverb settings. So you can hold reverb, then press copy, and then load up the other pattern, and then hold copy, and then press reverb. So that's the guitar from the other track. I don't know how well it fits here, especially with the horn and stuff, but at least it's the same. And then we'll do the same thing with the bongo too. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, here, let me copy this track over really quick and then I'll take a look there. Okay, so hold the pad down, press copy, then load the other pattern, then hold copy and press the track. Boom. Like the guitar on this part that has the horn sample or whatever, but yeah, that's for another discussion. Okay, so yeah, Simon's asking about the sidechain compressor, so let's do that. In fact, I was talking earlier about how I couldn't hear the kick very well, so this will probably be a good way to bring it up in the mix. So yeah, right now I don't have a master effect enabled, so you go to the mix page, you press MFX, type, and this allows you to set a master effect. And there's two master effects on the Lofi12XT. There's a filter, and then there's a compressor. I'm not like an expert in compression, so I'm gonna probably like make this sound really bad and sort of dial it back or whatever. But yeah, so essentially you can turn this thing on, and then you've got all these parameters like ratio, threshold. In fact, let's just see what it sounds like with it on. Sounds schmacked. Okay, so mix, MFX type. So yeah, maybe I have to reduce like the threshold or something. Yeah, this thing really makes your beat sound louder. But anyways, right now we're just doing compression on the entire mix. So that's all the tracks. But there is, if you go to MFX parameter, you've got these other parameters. Well, there's attack and release, but we're not going to worry about that for now. But this C knob controls the sidechain source. And so this is basically what allows you can have a track control when the compressor activates, the sounds on it will control it. So basically you usually want this to be your kick drum or maybe your bass sample, just to make sure, basically the idea is you have everything duck out when this sound plays so that it makes the sound kind of more forward or whatever. So yeah, my kick drum is on track 2. No, it's on track 3. So yeah, we're going to set the sidechain source to track 3, the kick drum. And then from here, you can set targets, and you can basically highlight ones, and then you push the button down to like make it a target. So generally what you want to do with this is you want to have the sample chops or whatever you have that's like kind of sustaining throughout the beat. You want that to be the target, so that's what ducks out and makes the kick louder. I mean, you could theoretically select every track that isn't the kick and just have everything get quieter, but I think it's really only necessary for, yeah, things like the sample chops, basically, in this beat as the example. Okay, and the sample chops are on track 1, so we're going to enable it there. So yeah, the way the settings are now, track 3 plays the kick, and it makes track 1 get quieter. So let's see if it sounds like how we were expecting it. Doesn't really sound like it's having an effect. So let me mess around with the parameters. So do you hear it ducking it? Yeah, so basically if you want it to have a very strong like ducking effect, you just jack up the threshold and then the ratio as well. So that's how you can get it to like kind of bring the levels down, and then it goes up again with the, or it goes up again after the sound plays. And so what's a situation you would use this? Yeah, basically if you are having trouble hearing your kick, like if you find that it's not cutting through the mix and you try like increasing the levels of it, but it's still just kind of like still a little too muddy, or the kick isn't really just easy to hear, basically, you can use sidechain compression to make everything else quieter when the kick plays so that the kick kind of sounds a little bit more audible, I guess. I mean, it's kind of weird because the way the lower frequencies work is that the sounds can be louder, but they're still hard for your ear to hear, as opposed to higher frequency sounds like the hi-hat or the snare, where it's like very immediately audible. So what this can do is help you kind of like keep the levels in such a way where you can hear some of those lower frequency sounds that are harder to hear by ducking out some of the other sounds which are probably in the higher frequency range. So that's kind of like my layman understanding of like when you would use it. And honestly, I don't mess around with it too much, but it does have its use. If you're, messing around and having trouble hearing some sounds, you can try using sidechain to like duck things out. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Let me know if you're looking for, or if you have any other ideas regarding sidechain compression. But yeah, Soulcraft Music asks, does the Lofi12XT have the better sound engine than the SP404 Mark II? Dude, nice. Heck yeah. Glad that helped. Better sound engine. I mean, this thing, it sounds pretty lo-fi. It kind of depends on what kind of sound you're looking for. I would say if you are going for that kind of like lo-fi hip hop, bit crushed, low sample rate, low frequency, then this thing is probably better than the Mark II, 404 Mark II. The thing about the 404 Mark II though is that you have like a lot of different effects you can add. I mean, this thing has a lot of effects too, but I feel like the 404 is a little bit more of a utility device that can like really process sounds in a lot of different ways. With this thing, you are kind of stuck in like a lo-fi sort of type of music. Not really. I mean, you can create a lot of different genres on this, but the fact that the highest frequency you can get is 24 kilohertz, it does kind of limit you in a sense that like you won't be able to get high fidelity music out of this because of the nature of the device and how it samples. So yeah, I would say the sound engine is different. Depends on what you're going for though. it comes to these like other compressor settings, like I kind of have no idea what I'm doing, like attack and release. Like I know what those words mean, but I don't know like how it really affects the sound. I guess it like makes the compressor activate more quickly or something. But yeah, I mean, just to give you a demo too, like, so here, mixer, mix page. Yeah, so right now the sidechain compression's activated. And the kick is a little more forward. And then I'll turn it off. Yeah, so you kind of get a little bit more out of the kick is basically the way that I have it set up here. And I kind of like how it sounds, so I'm going to save it. Oh man, I'm going to have to enable these settings on the other pattern too. Or maybe I could do global mode. All right, let me take a look here. I think I'll just enable it on the other one too. So let's see. Compressor's on, 8596, right? So compressor's on. I think those were the settings I had. Okay, so I'm going to save that again. I don't know why, but yeah, what do you say we try to get a good mixtape mode recording out of this? So yeah, for those that aren't familiar, the Lofi12XT has this built-in internal recording engine, basically, a recording system, I guess you could call it. And basically what it allows you to do is essentially when you enable it, which I haven't done yet, when you press play, it'll create like a WAV file in the SD card that has like every sound that you hear. The only thing it doesn't record is the external in, but it'll record everything else. So like the sounds that are playing, if I do pad mutes, like, you know, add the filter and do live performance or whatever, all that stuff will get recorded into the WAV file, which is cool because it saves you the trouble of needing to like, you know, plug it into your audio interface and, you know, press record on Audacity or whatever you normally do. So it's kind of a fun way to just like create music that gets saved internally. Then you can deal with the file later. So yeah, let's go ahead and enable it. And then, oh, and then one other thing is there are these cassette type presets, which are basically like filters that it adds to the sound to give you a little bit of a unique sound to your mixtape file. So let's listen to which one sounds coolest. Yeah, I kind of like type 1. Seems like it's not, because some of these lower ones are like, they have a very aggressive filter that kind of like cuts out the high end quite a bit. But type 1 seems like it's a good balance of like a little bit's cut out, but not too much. So that's the mode we're going to go with. We've got monitor enabled so we can hear what it sounds like. And then, yeah, I'm going to press enable, and this is basically just going to record the beat once I start playing or pressing play. And you can see the icon in the corner there. It's probably a little small on your television set, but basically it looks like a mixtape. And when I press play, it'll light up and start like looking like it's moving basically. But yeah, and then, oh, one other thing I'll do actually is I'm going to set this up in such a way where it like, there's kind of an intro part to it. So I'm just going to mute like the drums and stuff and some of the extra layers, and we'll bring them in. All right, wish me luck. Nice. Okay, that was the mixtape. Dude, that one turned out pretty good, I think. I feel like there was one part that kind of screwed up, but other than that, not too bad. But yeah, appreciate that, Simon. Yeah, dude, the swipe muting, I love doing that. I don't know, I feel like I saw someone else do that or something. I can't remember where I learned that technique, but it works out really well, and it's super easy to do. You just, yeah, run your finger along the top of it. And yeah, I find it's a little bit more reliable than like doing this, because sometimes you accidentally get like a double trigger and like some things don't mute. So this is just like, boom, super duper easy, right? Yeah, you can do that when you're playing keys too. Like you can kind of do like a, I don't know what you call that, a run, I guess, where you just kind of like run up the notes or whatever. Nice. Okay. Whoa. Cool. So yeah, that was this beat. Let me like save. Yeah. So this is saved. And then I'm going to save the project too. Project 249. It's easy to remember. Comes right before 250. All right, so that was that beat. Trying to think about what's next here. I did want to do some sonic experiments if y'all are down for that. Because yeah, I had this idea, this concept about using this thing as like a granular synthesizer. I don't really know exactly how to do it, but yeah, I wanted to test out some concepts. So you know what? Yeah, let's transition to that. If you're not into R&D, no worries. But yeah, let me take a look here and see if I can get this loaded up. All right. So yeah, we've got some fun devices that we're gonna utilize today, which includes this Sanyo cassette thing that I got at like the thrift store a long time ago. But yeah, this thing's super cool because it's basically it's a tape player. Here, let me open it up. But the cassette that it came with is this weird like radio tuning thing. Like I don't even know how this freaking works, to be honest with you. It's ancient technology, but yeah, basically what it allows you to do is use this cassette player as a radio. So I'm gonna just like sample some radio tuning noise, like just kind of that kind of thing, and then see if I can get some kind of like synthesis going on the Lofi12XT, and if it can sound halfway decent, which I'm not sure it will, but let's try it out. So I just need to pop some batteries into this boy. Yeah, this thing's crusty. Look at this. It's got this like battery fabric thing. Like y'all remember these? I don't even know what the heck it is. Okay. And then pop this in like this, like so. Then I need to plug it in. Okay. And then, yeah, phones. So I think that's everything I need. And then let me go to the recording here. All right, I'm gonna push play. Hopefully I don't want to set any alarms off or anything. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, super loud, so let me turn the input down. I figured that would happen, but I should have tested first. All right, so sounds pretty crazy, right? I could turn it down. But yeah, the idea is I just record as I'm kind of scrolling through. Here, I'll show you what it sounds like.
Teaching on the same thing.
Yeah, and basically what I'm looking for is kind of a unique tone to record, and then I can like sort of use the loop mode on this to like, I don't know, maybe use it as a granular synth. We'll see. But yeah, let me find a nice tone and then I'll get it recorded in.
Subscribe.
Show what a trend.
Not affording.
All right, so something like this, I think I could possibly use. All right, so we're gonna turn that down. Let's take a listen to what we recorded here. What is this? And then we can play chromatically too, if that is our prerogative. Let me set it to mono. Yeah, this thing sounds so wacky, but it already has kind of like an interesting tone to it. Okay, Soulcraft Music writes in and asks, can you delete or get rid of start and end points on your samples? You actually can't, which is kind of a bummer, I guess. But yeah, you can definitely set the start points, like you can adjust them. So you can see, for instance, I can scroll in and it's like bringing the end point in, and then this adjusts the start point as well. But you can't like, oh man, sorry. But you can't truncate a sound or like crop it, as some devices call it, where it like cuts out that audio. It's always going to be there. You just can adjust the start and the end point. Or any decay from right and left on a drum sound. Decay from right and left. I mean, yeah, there are envelope controls where you can control the attack, sustain, and release. So the release is going to be as close to decay as you get on this device. But in terms of like right and left, it's a mono device. I'm not sure if you know that. Yeah, you can record samples that are stereo, but it always sums them to mono. So it's you can't have stereo samples, they're all mono. But it does have two, like a left and a right channel, so you get sort of like stereo audio, I guess, but it's all mono. I don't know, hopefully I didn't like totally confuse you with that explanation, but let me know if that makes sense. But yeah, so we've got this interesting tone. Let me add a filter on it too. Yeah, maybe like a low shelf or high shelf filter. Oh crap. Okay, let's try low shelf. I think low pass is probably our best bet. But it really mutes it out. Okay, so I think this is kind of getting where we want it to be. Alright, but the way to use it as a granular synth, so this is the whole experiment. What you can do is you can set a very tight loop point to create what would be a grain on a granular synth, which is like, basically the way the granular synth works is it like super finely slices the sample, and it's like playing like weird, very small segments that are looped, which is kind of giving you these like textures and pads that are like way different than the original sound. So granular synthesis is pretty crazy, and it's only capable, or it's only like it's like a digital synthesis, it's not analog, in most cases. Or I'm not sure if you can do it analog, but anyways, I'm just rambling at this point. So let's set a very tight loop point. That's the first thing we need to do. So I'm gonna go to the sound setting here, and then I'm gonna bring this endpoint super close in, and then, oh dude, what did I do? hold the phone here. Okay, here it is. All right, and then I'm going to turn loop mode on by pressing this button. So now it's looping. So when you bring the loop point in super tight, it kind of becomes like a single cycle waveform. Kind of sounds like a saw wave or square wave or something. But yeah, here's where it gets interesting. So what I want to do... Okay, bring it out. So yeah, what I want to do now is modulate the start point of the sample, which you can do on this device. And by modulating the start point, we're going to get that granular sort of like playing a bunch of different parts of the sample. I don't know what it's going to sound like with this weird radio tuning noise, but let's find out. Okay, so go to mod, set our destination, our target, which is going to be sample start. Let me pick a point that's like a little bit later in the sample, because I think right now what's happening with the modulation is that it's going down, but since I'm like at the beginning of the sample, it's like kind of just hitting the start of the sample and not really doing anything. So let's go ahead and move the start point. Try not to screw this up here. And we're going to bring it further in on the sample. So you see what the playhead's doing? Very interesting behavior, if I do say so myself. So it sounds like crazy noise. Let's go back to the mod page and like see if we can get some interesting tones. Maybe instead of a sine wave, I'll do something else. Yeah, I can't really get consistent behavior out of it. Like, I feel like what's happening is it's somehow modulating back to the start point, and then at that point it just doesn't do anything. Which is why that tone comes in. It's getting to the beginning and then it's like stopping there, maybe. Let me see what it's doing on the playhead. Yeah, see? It's getting to the beginning and then it just stops. Here, let me bring the start point even further ahead. I don't know. Okay, like this. Okay. Yeah, now it's like cutting off. I think it's hitting the end point. No, it's just stopping there. Like, what? Dude, it's like so hard to explain this behavior. I don't understand what it's doing. It just stops. but nothing in the mod settings would lead me to believe that it would just like stop. It's supposed to still be going up and down. I guess if you keep the depth pretty low, it's like a safe bet, and then maybe the frequency as well. Haven't gotten anything musical out of this, just sounds like noise. Okay, and then here's another way to like kind of granularize it, if that is indeed a word. What you can do is there's a random wave shape, or whatever you call that, random oscillator. My expectation is that it would be jumping around to random points within the waveform, but maybe it's not doing that. Oh yeah, see what it's doing? It's like kind of like very tightly. It was moving earlier, I guess it's not anymore. Now it's jumping backwards. Oh, maybe it's because the frequency is so low. Yeah, I just don't understand why it's like stopping the playback. Maybe you can do like percussion with it, or I don't know. There might be some application to this, so I got to keep thinking around with it. But yeah, that was kind of the concept. Yeah, you can modulate start time. I feel like there might be a way to like time stretch with this thing too, but I haven't figured it out yet either. But yeah, I think that probably does it for this session. Just a little bit of experimenting, and made a beat earlier, so probably gonna sign off at this point. But yeah, appreciate y'all tuning in, sticking around, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.